Well, hello there, and welcome to A Song for Yesterday, and another look back at the vintage UK national final for Eurovision. This time we're off to 1985, and Good Friday evening for the competition to choose the UK entry for Göteborg. I know, that was good, wasn't it? I learned that pronunciation from Terry Wogan. Now, the start of the show was normal enough. Same titles as last year, same music as every year, and then into the studio. But what's going on here? The show started not with Terry, but a dance routine to classic UK winners, plus congratulations and Waterloo. Those of us used to the modern professional routines and Strictly will find this a little hard to watch, but it does have a certain camp charm. It also included a sort of flag parade for our 8 acts, minus the flags. Eventually, Terry appeared without a dicky bow, but with someone walking behind him for some reason. He welcomed us to the show and got things started.
Welcome to A Song for Europe, 1985. Here we are again, eh?
And first out is song number 1, Love Is by Vicky. Like all the singers this year, Vicky had a chance to preview her song on Terry's new chat show a week or so earlier, and it's interesting to spot what she changed. On Wogan, she wore a black and pink outfit, and her routine involved casting off her jacket before the final chorus. It was, of course, the same gimmick Belle and the Devotions had used the previous year, and perhaps for that reason it was quietly dropped. Not that Vicky was short of gimmicks. She had a new outfit in ice blue taffeta, which made her look like she was wearing Betty Rubble's dress and Wilma Flintstone's necklace. She also had a white chair and a trademark dance move I call the Vicky Shuffle. Love Is itself was a light but very catchy song. It doesn't sound much when you first hear it, but you'll find yourself humming the chorus all day afterwards. Love is the feeling it makes you move. Song number 2 was I'm Crying by Peter Beckett.
Oh, I just want to say how much I love you. That's how I really feel. And when it's time to fold away the pages, once again I'll be
Peter Beckett hails from Ballymoney, County Antrim, which I mentioned for 2 reasons. First, it's a place I know very well, and second, because this makes a point I've always wondered about. In these 80s Song for Europes, Terry is always very careful not to influence the juries by commenting on any past successes from the singers or composers. Fair enough. But what he does do is tell us where they're from, which to my mind must prejudice the regional juries even more. Just look how often the Scottish or Midland juries marked up acts from their part of the world. As for the song, Peter, who previously came second to Johnny Logan in the 1980 Irish final, does a decent job with this sad ballad. But you know what I'm going to say, don't you? A man singing a ballad from number 2 in the running order at A Song for Europe. There's no hope for something like this. But don't worry, Peter would return and do much better a year later.
until then I'll be crying.
Song number 3 was The Clock on the Wall by Alvin Stardust? Yes, it's Alvin Stardust.
Every day about 9 o'clock I know the time's gonna fly when I get away about 5 o'clock. My heart is beating fast, getting closer to you. Now I know the time can get emotional too. Whatever I do, whatever I say, the clock on the wall keeps ticking away.
Heavens Above, an actual household name taking part in the UK final. You'd have to go back at least to Liquid Gold, if not the Nolans or Guys and Dolls for the last big name competitor. Alvin was bigger than all of them, best known for a string of hits in the mid-70s, but he'd also had 2 top 10 songs as recently as '84. And this is a likeable song too, lifted by confident vocals and Alvin's surly charisma. Naturally, Alvin attracted all the publicity this year and was surely the favourite. But remember, Liquid Gold didn't win a song for Europe. Neither did the Nolans, or Guys and Dolls, or Lynn Paul, or Carl Wayne, or Frank Ifield, or the Foundations, or Tony Christie. In a Song for Europe's open era, the stars were often disappointed. Song number 4 was What We Say With Our Eyes by James Oliver. This is the first of 3 '80s Song for Europe entries by James Oliver, and for me, the best of the trio. Poor James seems fairly nervous here though, but that's understandable. On his Wogan preview, a technical problem meant he had to stop and start again on the live broadcast. The performance on the big night is a touch on the weak side, which is a shame because it's a good strong ballad with a memorable chorus. I'd love to hear it sung by a more confident, experienced singer. You know, someone like Des Dyer? And indeed, next up was Des Dyer with song number 5, Energy. This is fun, isn't it? I'm a big fan of Des Dyer. He's a great vocalist and a terrific songwriter. We last saw him at a Song for Europe '83 when he came 3rd with Casablanca and With Love. Yes, that one. He's back in '85 with Energy, and this is one of the highlights of the evening, though perhaps not in the way that Des would have hoped. The studio version of this is just great, but it doesn't quite work live in the night. The orchestra sounds a bit old-fashioned here, while Des looks like a cross between Alan Barton from Black Lace and a bank manager. For me, the best bit is during the instrumental break when Des plays air guitar while the orchestra plays strings and brass. It's gloriously silly. Onwards and upwards then to song number 6, Let Me Love You One More Time by Annabelle. Like Des, Annabelle was a Song for Europe veteran, having been one of the sickly orphans back in 1981, and clearly things hadn't improved at the orphanage. By '85, poor Annabelle had lost the power of her legs and was suffering from what Victoria Wood would have called dangerously straight hair. But never underestimate the magic of Eurovision. Altogether now, I do believe in fairies. I do believe in fairies. Look, yes, Annabelle gets up halfway through the song because we believed in her. She's a bit unsteady though, and her posture is terrible. It's funny, this whole routine reminds me of Clara getting up out of her wheelchair and learning to walk in Heidi. But while the staging is a bit of a joke, this song is really good. Paul Curtis never got the credit he deserved for the ballads he composed, but this one is just lovely, and Annabelle has a really good voice too. Close your eyes, forget the staging, and this sounds 100 times better. Song 7 was Dancing in the Night by Kerry Wells. The second of two consecutive songs by Paul Curtis and Graham Sacker, this one is a complete contrast. Irish singer Kerry Wells gives a punchy performance of this dramatic disco song, and this time the orchestra sounds terrific. There's a lot to like here, but there's something not clicking for me. I think maybe it's a bit repetitive and relies on that chorus too much. Funnily enough, I think Terry Wogan picked up on the same thing at the previews.
Well, that was song number 7. I think it was called Dancing in the Night.
Song 8 was So Do I by Mike Redway and Fiona Kennedy. Like Cheryl Baker, Fiona Kennedy presented Record Breakers with Roy Castle, but unlike Cheryl, Fiona never won a song for Europe. And to be honest, she was never likely to with this dated ballad. The UK has had a number of great duets over the years, but even Pearl Carr and Teddy Johnson would have thought this one was a bit old-fashioned. But that's just my opinion. None other than Colin Berry himself just loved this, and once picked So Do I as one of his favourite Song for Europe entries. Wouldn't the world be a boring place if we all agreed all the time? Well, that was our 8 songs. After that, we had to suffer a short but dreadful interval where the dancers came back to perform a routine called Birdland, which came across like a particularly poor West End musical number. Not a moment too soon, Terry was back at the scoreboard to call in the regional juries. 9 BBC studios were on call this year, and spokespersons included such old friends as John Mundy in Manchester, Ewan Thomas in Cardiff, Paul Coya in Birmingham, and Colin Berry in London. But starting us off was Jim Neely in Belfast. Back then, Jim presented the daily sports bulletin on BBC Northern Ireland, and he even had his own catchphrase, which I remember well. It's 20 to 6.
It's 20 to 6.
It's not much of a catchphrase, I must admit, but it was his own. So, would Northern Ireland go for one of the 2 Irish singers, or did they love Alvin Stardust?
Number 1, Love Is gets 15 points.
That's full marks from Belfast.
Top marks to Love Is. And that set the scene for the evening. Alvin did get 1 top mark and Kerry Wells collected 2, but apart from that, it was a landslide for Vicky.
7 points.
Here we go. Song number 1, Love Is, we gave 15 points.
Number 1, Love Is, we've given the maximum points, 15.
That's right. Song number 1, Love Is, guess what? 15 points.
Okay, number 1, Love Is, guess what? We've given it 15.
Song number 1, Love Is, 15 points.
That's the full one, that's it. It's a pretty comprehensive, convincing victory for song number 1, Love Is, with 124 points.
In the end, poor Alvin only finished 3rd, while Kerry Wells came a respectable 2nd, but Vicky was very definitely the winner. Co-composer James Califf came up to collect his award, and Vicky came over to join them. She didn't get to say a word, though, before heading back to the stage to sing the reprise. A day or 2 later, Vicky was sent off to a park to film her preview. She wasn't allowed to even mime, and she must have been frozen in that very impractical outfit. Interestingly, the preview included the saxophone solo, which features on the record of Love Is, but was missed from all the live versions. Look at this here. The last time we saw water sports at Eurovision, the Wombles were in speedboats. Watch out, Vicky, you'll get splinters from that old bridge. Over in Göteborg, Vicky and James had to go outside again, this time to film their postcard. Vicky wasn't going to be caught out twice though. This time she took a big fur coat with her to keep her warm. On the big night, Vicky was back in her Flintstones outfit, and although the Vicky shuffle was cut in half, the chair was present and correct. When it came to the votes, no one loved Love Is, but almost everyone liked it. It got no 12s, but plenty of 5s, 6s and 7s, and a couple of 10s to finish with 100 points and 4th place. Indeed, only Cyprus didn't give a vote to Vicky, and the UK was only 6 points off being runner-up again. Out in the real world, however, the Vicky Shuffle failed to catch on, and Love Is didn't even make the UK Top 40. The Song for Europe curse hit all the other songs too, including Alvin Stardust. But there was one exception. Can you guess who it was? Yes, it's that man again. 10 years later, Des Dyer tweaked the lyrics of Energy to become Voice of America, which was recorded by none other than Nicky French. As I always say, you can't keep a good song down. And thanks to my pal Melody Man for alerting me to this.
Music is about emotion. It is about spirit and rhythm.
As for Vicky, she's now better known as Aone, or possibly Aone, and has gone on to be an award-winning new age composer and vocalist. Alright then, before we go, let's see what I made of the contest. Song number 1, Love Is. I know I damned it with faint praise earlier, but it really is the one you go away humming. My winner, 15 points. Song number 2, I'm Crying. 3 cheers for County Antrim, but just 6 points for the song. Song number 3, The Clock on the Wall. Watch a professional do his stuff. 10 points. Song number 4, What We Say With Our Eyes. A nervous performance, but it was a good song. 8 points. Song number 5, Energy. I'm a sucker for this sort of thing. 9 points to Des Dyer. Song 6, Let Me Love You One More Time. It looks silly on screen, but it's a lovely song, well performed. 12 points. Song number 7, Dancing in the Night. This was good, but just too repetitive for me. 7 points. And song number 8, So Do I. Bottom of the list, and I'm afraid bottom of my voting, but it's not that bad. 5 points. So there we go. That's it from me and a song for yesterday. I'm off now to practice the Vicky Shuffle where angels fear to tread. Do let me know what you like from 1985, and thanks for watching. Goodbye.